So here's what I need you to understand when you're trying to write the equation of a parabola and you're given the vertex and the focus. The main thing that I want you to understand is what is the value of P, right? Because if you can find the value P, then you can go ahead and write the equation. Like you just need to understand what the value P is and how it's going to help you write that equation. So I think one of the best ways to understand like what the value P or to find the value P is just to plot the information, right? You're given the vertex of this parabola and you're given the focus. So let's go ahead and plot the vertex first, because remember the vertex is either going to be the lowest or the highest point of a parabola, right? So that's going to be at 0, 0, which is at the origin. Okay, great. Like that kind of makes things rather simple. So now the focus, now again, is another point. Now, again, you still could be confused on the focus, whatever may be the case, but I hope you understand like this is an X and a Y coordinate, right? So this is going to be your focus. So let's see, 0, -2. So I'm 0, and then I'm going to go down 2. Okay, so that is going to be my focus. Now, a lot of times I like to put a V for the vertex and an F for the focus. All right. Now, again, the main thing is like, what I need you to understand is what is the value of P? So P is going to be what we call our focal length. It's going to be the distance from our vertex to our focus. Okay. So we can simply just go ahead and count this, right? So to go from V to F, right? We can say 1, 2, just gonna be 2 units. Okay. However, it's really important for us to understand this. We're going down, right? Now, this is a coordinate grid, right? So X is positive to the right, negative to the left. Y is positive up and negative down. So if I'm going 2 units down, therefore I'm going to say that my P is equal to a -2. Okay. So my focal length, even though like that value, like the distance here is going to be 2, we can see that we're going in a negative direction. That's going to be crucially important because when we want to write the equation of a, parabola, we just need to know P. Like that, we need to know P, like the distance as well as the direction. So let's go and write through the formula. Now, again, we know that our vertex always opens up to our focus, right? The focus is kind of like what we're focusing on. I always like to say that. So we're always opening up towards our focus. So it's really important to understand that when we have a parabola that opens up or down, that we're going to be using the vertical parabola equation. So that's going to be an x minus h quantity squared equals a 4p times a y minus k. Now, the cool thing here is that our vertex here is going to be our h and our k, right? So that's going to be our h and our k. And guess what we have here? We have a 0 and a 0. So like that's easy, right? So I have I'm just going to write this here. Oh, come on. I want to do my favorites. Where are my favorites? There they are. So my favorites here is going to be, no, not that. So I'm going to have a x minus a 0, right? And then therefore it's going to be squared equals a 4 times P. Now remember what P was? P was equal to -2, right? That's why it's so important to understand what your P is. Because if you understand what your P is, therefore that's going to be a -2. There's really nothing else that we need to figure out in for this equation, right? We have our vertex and we have our P. And we are going to be good to go. So that's going to be a y minus, again, another 0. Now, again, I don't really need to write the 0. And you could sometimes we also like teach students, another formula here for it, like without the h and the k. But again, I always like to sometimes write it just so you guys know like where it's at, right? So now let's just go and simplify it. So x minus 0 squared is going to be a x squared equals a -8 times y is going to be your equation of the parabola. Hopefully this was helpful. If it was, I look forward to seeing you in the next video.